Hello pupils of Mr. Pistillo. My name is Grace and I am 12 years old. I live in London in England. I'm going to be reading you a passage about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. He studied in Philadelphia where he became enthusiastic about Gandhi and his policy of non-violence. In 1954, in Montgomery, where he was a minister in a small Negro church, he carried out the first non-violent demonstration against racial discrimination. This followed in an incident when a black lady called Rosa Parks was arrested for sitting in a seat on a bus reserved for white people and refusing to give it to a white man. For a year, black people walked, cycled, or used cars instead of taking the bus. In 1959, segregation was declared illegal on buses in Alabama. Martin Luther King had won his first battle. Martin Luther King became famous for the Black Freedom Movement. He was arrested and imprisoned many times, but he never stopped his campaign. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King led a peaceful march to Washington. About 250,000 people sang, prayed, and listened to his famous speech called "I Have a Dream." In it, he talked about his dreams for the future, when black and white children would play together, and slave owners would sit down to eat together. There was no violence during the demonstration. Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. This great man was assassinated in Memphis in 1968. I am now going to read you a passage from his famous speech. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. And when this happens, all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last."